Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And in TikTok news, once again, more reinforcement from yet another whistleblower. TikTok has been sending US data to China. How many times do we have to talk about this? This is absolutely unbelievable. Now, this is coming basically originally from Fortune, but Matthew Zhao of Free Beacon had a really good, concise write up on this, so I'm cribbing from him. Thank you very much for that, Matthew. Now, here's what's going on. A former senior employee at TikTok said he was ordered to send American user data to ByteDance in Beijing. That contradicts TikTok's public claims of operating independently from China, and that's exactly what we're talking about, to the point where their members, like their executives, went in front of Congress and have lied about this. Now, Evan Turner, who is a senior data scientist for TikTok from April to September in 2022, told Fortune that every 2 weeks, TikTok had him email spreadsheets containing millions of Americans' user data to ByteDance employees in Beijing, China, including users' names, email address, IP address, and demographics. Turner said he, quote, literally worked on a project that gave US data to China, end quote, even though TikTok had launched Project Texas in March of 2022, promising US officials that it would stop sharing American user data with its Chinese parent company and keep the data in US-based data centers. For the record, Oracle is the data center that TikTok has been using this entire time. But we also found out, as I mentioned, that those US data centers are being replicated, aka backed up to data centers in Singapore, outside US jurisdiction. So everything that's happening in the United States on TikTok is essentially ending up in Singapore, and who knows who has access to that, but we do know the Chinese do, specifically the government. Quote, there were Americans that were working in upper management that were completely complicit in this, end quote. Now, the former senior data scientist said that while his supervisor was switched from a ByteDance executive in Beijing to an American manager in Seattle, a human resources representative told him he would, in reality, still report to the Beijing-based ByteDance executive. Turner also said that he never met the American manager and continued to have weekly meetings with that executive in Beijing. Quote, even though a spreadsheet is probably a very tiny percentage of all the information that TikTok collects, it can be extremely targeted and very damaging to certain people. Everybody should be really concerned. And that, again, is according to, Anton de Hubra, Executive Director of the Johns Hopkins Information Security Institute. And Anton, I apologize for butchering your last name, but this is what we are talking about here. I can't tell you how many times I have done videos and podcasts and radio segments on TikTok and the 2017 Chinese law that basically says if you are a Chinese corporation doing business outside of China and have data on foreigners, aka Americans, aka anybody that is not a Chinese national, by law, the Chinese government gets access to that. That's what we're talking about here. But this is more blatant. This is more blatant than that, where they're actually having Americans literally email spreadsheets full of sensitive, personally identifiable information to China. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is why I have been a huge fan of the actual vote in Congress, essentially, to get rid of this. The House voted 352 to 65. And in this divided time in U.S. politics, look at how bipartisan that is. 352 to 65 voted to get rid of this altogether or transfer that aspect of it to an American company, and hopefully that American company is going to scrub the code. But this is the issue. Information warfare is the new type of warfare in the world. And if we have basically sensitive information or just personally identifiable information on U.S. citizens going to a foreign adversary, and that's what China is acting as, this is a huge problem. Why anybody would use this app is beyond me. And if you're using it, I'd want to know why. And even if you know all of these risks and still want to use it, fine, more power to you. But why? I just don't get it. And so there you go. It's our job to educate everybody. And hopefully now you learned a little bit more if you've missed all the 800 videos and podcasts I've done on this in the past. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where you have recourse under the law, but not when your data's in China. Try suing Beijing. Same with YouTube as well, where you should subscribe. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.